My name is Greg Fullerton, and this is my oral presentation on the Heidi Roizen case study for West Texas A&M University. In the latter part of her adolescent years, Heidi's parents separated and her father started a new company, which ultimately failed. Heidi responded by helping to pitch into the family income by putting on puppet shows for children's birthday parties. I think this may have been an early crucible moment for which she helped define her work ethic. A second crucible moment occurred when she was attending Stanford University, majoring in creative writing, and her fiancé was killed in a plane crash. Most people would allow an event like this to negatively affect their lives, but Heidi used it as a catalyst to change her current lifestyle into what she wanted it to be. After graduating with her creative writing degree, Heidi realized the local job market was mostly of the high-tech industry. Instead of changing the path, Heidi applied for a creative writing position for the company newsletter at Tandem. With many applicants for the position, Heidi reached out to a friend at the company and was put into contact with the hiring manager, and the two hit it off, and Heidi ended up getting the job. It sounds like Heidi was able to uncover similarities, which falls under Cialdini's principle of liking. In this position, Heidi was in a unique role where she was able to interact with the CEO on a regular basis, and she took advantage of that. I think this is where the seed was planted in Heidi for what the power and potential of networking could do for her career. She was able to use this unique platform to demonstrate her high-quality work to get the CEO to write her a recommendation letter to enter graduate school. Throughout her entire career, Heidi was able to turn meaningless conversation into ones of substance. She demonstrated this in all stages of her career, but especially when she was at the next step of her career at Teamaker, and she needed to sway the opinion of the press to review and critique their products. If you need to influence somebody with a small window of opportunity, this is a great asset to have. After Teamaker Deluxe, Heidi took on the role of Vice President of Worldwide Developer Relations at Apple. By this point, Heidi had already built a name for herself, and she had almost a celebrity-like status throughout the industry. I think all the work Heidi did prior to this role helped lay the groundwork for the authority principle explained by Cialdini. During this time, she also made it a priority to display Cialdini's principle of consistency through her quality of work, as well as following up on requests from people and following through what she said she would do. Feeling burnt out by the pace of Apple, Heidi decided to create her own position, a mentor capitalist. In this role, she would provide startups her expertise and leveraged her networks as a recruiting tool in exchange for an equity stake in their company. This is where the strengths of Heidi's network really shined. Companies were willing to give up a portion of their entire company just to gain access to her experience and leverage the connections that she had established throughout her career. She was able to use her network to provide real value to these companies. However, Heidi always made sure to use Cialdini's rule of reciprocity when putting two connections in contact, making sure to keep the balance of giving and taking. During this time period, Heidi became well known for networking-based dinner parties that she would hold. She would always make sure everybody would know about half of the people, while the other half would be new connections where both parties could benefit from the relationship. She would also keep the meals very simple, such as like spaghetti and meatballs, to make sure everybody felt comfortable and at home. Following her stint as a mentor capitalist, Heidi signed on as a general partner at SoftBank. In this role, Heidi found herself spending about half of her time working with current clients and the other half with new business opportunities from the entrepreneurial community. Most executives would save time by not replying to the rejected business plans, but Heidi found it crucial to stick with her philosophy of maintaining relationships as best as possible. With the demands of maintaining a very extensive network growing, Heidi found it mandatory to become increasingly efficient with her time. She kept in close contact with the nuclei of other networks so she could tap into their networks if needed. This strategy falls in line with the concepts discussed in How to Build Your Network by Uzi and Dunlap. Heidi made it a point to connect with people from all walks of life and stages of their career because you never know where they might end up someday. I think this is generally a good philosophy to adopt, not because these connections might be able to help you down the road, but it's what a genuine person would do and should do. The connections possibly benefiting you is just an added bonus. The foresight to grasp this bigger picture early on in her career really helped her down the road. I think overall the biggest strength of Heidi's network was her understanding of a win-win situation. She would never introduce two of her contacts where she didn't think both parties would benefit to the highest degree, which helped to build the trust and the confidence of her entire network. Overall, I feel like Heidi Roizen developed a very nice blend of being a matcher and a giver. She was always willing to help out a contact, but only if it would be a mutually beneficial relationship for both parties involved. If you're always willing to be a giver without limits, you end up becoming a doormat, which will only set you further behind.